The night where he's in Judah asleep. I wonder who will wake him, bring him to his feet. Speak now or forever hold your peace. There's a night where he's in Judah asleep. I wonder who will wake him, bring him to his feet. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Father of Kendrick Johnson. We are here today to address the findings of Sheriff Ashley Paulk. They said Brian Bell, the target, never crossed paths. I ask you to do your research, to look at the documentary, look at the FBI report. It said they did cross paths. Secondly, I like to make a comment about this is why we don't trust anything that the sheriff of Valdosta said that anything ever come out their mouth. It goes to show you the cover-up that is going on in this town. To state that the third autopsy said position asphyxia is very not true. Go and look at the third autopsy and it will show you where the second and third autopsy conflict with the first autopsy. We're not asking you to tell, we're not asking anyone to tell any lies to us. And the third autopsy here it says the third autopsy also contradicts the finding the first autopsy, which the GOJ admitted to us that the second and third autopsy was the most accurate autopsy there was. And the findings of the third autopsy, it said that there revealed blunt force trauma was found in Johnson's right chest. It made you think that Paulk said the third autopsy was and actually Paulk findings, they say third autopsy was performed by the Office of Armed Air Force Medical Examiner. The initial report, August 2014, August 25th. It listed the cause of death as position of fixture and the manner of death accidental. That is not true. Look at the third autopsy, people. Do your own research. The third autopsy was done by Dr. Anderson. It was the third autopsy contradicts the findings of the first autopsy, which determined the cause of death is position of fixture. The findings in the autopsy done by forensics that the reveal of blunt force trauma was found. And that contradicts everything Sheriff Paulk said about the third autopsy. Do your research, people. Do not believe anything that this sheriff department tell you. Because it is known that they would not tell the truth about what happened. Inside the FBI report, it shows you where Kendrick and Bryant crossed paths. Now they are saying the Bells left an hour before Kendrick was last seen. First, they stated they left that morning. Then they left at noon. Now they left an hour before Kendrick was last seen. You can't keep changing the time of when they cross paths. You got an FBI report showing you when they cross paths with each other. And then it's just like a slap in the face. It's like the father of Rick Bell said. When he said in his deposition, how many times that Kendrick was over to their house, which we know that was a lie. And then now the sheriff want to say that Kendrick and Bryant later did a project together, which is a bald-faced lie. Kendrick, after the fight on the bus, they did not have any communication with one another. And for this sheriff department to continuously tell lies, it's right here in its documents. Read the third autopsy report, people. Don't take my word for it. Read the third autopsy report. It doesn't state what he said. An Air Force armed medical examiner, I have no clue who in the hell he is talking about because I was there. Don't take Dr. Anderson's word for it. Sheriff Anthony Paulk, do not take Dr. Anderson's word for it. Look at the evidence. something y'all have not done. Look at the evidence. Look at the findings. Don't take his word for it. Look at it. Something Dr. Kraft doesn't have any proof of what she said. The Justice Department says this. She have no proof of how Kendra died. And it says in the Sheriff Paulk report, people, like I said, do your research. It said in the Sheriff Paulk report that the Kendra feet were sticking well out the mat. Do your research. The young lady said she looked down inside the mat and seen Kendra. Do your research, people, to show you that you cannot believe what the Sheriff Department say. He is a known liar. Just like the case, he allegedly covered up the findings what happened to Willie Jane Williams. The same thing that this Sheriff Department will do again and again if the people do not stand up and fight for what is right and make them do what's right. This is the Sheriff Department known to cover up things. When you had Willie Jane Williams laying inside this jailhouse, dying, and this same sheriff allegedly covered up what happened to Willie Jane Williams, and the same thing that he come back and trying to do now. Sheriff Paulk, you didn't have anything to do with it, as you say. But the lies you put on this paper made you just a part of the cover-up and the conspiracy of what's going on in my son's case. And I will fight as long as I have to uncover what exactly happened to Kendrick Johnson. People, do not take my word for it. Do your research.
So where do you guys go from here? What's your next step?
We keep pushing. We have students was at that schoolhouse that year. They are reaching out to us. And that's what I want to say to the students. He haven't ended. If you have any information, contact the Sheriff Department. I say to the students, do not go in alone. Do not go in from an attorney around here in Lowndes County. Record everything you say to these people so they won't try to turn it around and make you out of a liar. Send it to the Justice Department. All the information you all have.
FBI's looked at it, Department of Justice, this place twice. Who else do you have to turn to?
Well, you have to know, the Department of Justice, they know them. They told me and my wife sitting at the table, Mr. Johnson, if it's just a plain murder, it will go back to where the crime happened. If we can't prove a civil rights violation, then it have to go back to Valdosta. And she said, Mr. Johnson, that's why it's going back to Valdosta. They told us up there in the Middle District of Macon, Deborah Sines, Mr. Johnson, we know something happened. Just like Sheriff Paulk told me that they can't even investigate the funeral home to find out what happened to Kendrick's organs, because they can't investigate the G.B.R. So you mean to tell me, he told me that they know something happened to his organs, but we can't investigate, Mr. Johnson, because investigating the funeral home is just like investigating the G.B.R. that we can't investigate the G.B.Rs. Well, you can recommend that somebody can come in, can do it.
So what did Middle Georgia tell you?
The Middle Georgia told us, Mr. Johnson, if we can't prove a civil rights violation, if it's just a plain old murder, it goes back to where the crime happened. And that's how they say, Mr. Johnson, we know the target letter went out. They say, Mr. Johnson, we have proof that the father committed a crime, that he was trying to cover up what happened. They say we turned in evidence to the FBI that the father was trying to cover up what happened, right? He said, Mr. Johnson, they will not fire him. They will make him resign. And that is exactly what happened. So there's a target letter went to the boys. They raided their house. And you mean to tell me there was no crime committed? They just went to their house, they raided their house, and they haven't done anything? Anybody know that is not true.
Mr. Johnson, we hear in the press that Sheriff Paulk was the one that initiated this investigation. So what you're saying now is that they recommended that it come back for further investigation?
Well, what they told us, I don't know what was his motive of opening the investigation. With that, we don't know. But when I was way before he got here, that we had a meeting up in the Middle District, up in Macon, and that's when they told us about what they come up with. They couldn't prove it was a civil rights violation, and we not asking for no favors. We not asking no one to lie for us, but we want the truth to be told. He said that he can prove every minute of the videotape. Well, we will be filing an open records request to show us every minute was lost. Show us the details. Now, you got to know that they said that a basketball knocked the camera out of focus. Well, if the basketball knocked the camera out of focus, you said that the cameras didn't show that far. But we have a forensic guy going over the whole tape, and it's something we will be releasing in the near future. That it shows on what this guy found back there where Kenneth was found. If the cameras didn't reach that far, how can it show the doors open and close at night? How can, if you do your research, when if the cameras didn't reach that far, when they found Kendrick, which we have, and we will be releasing this in the near future, when they start pulling the mats down, when they allegedly supposed to have found Kendrick, you can see the students running, pulling the mats down. So if the cameras didn't work that far, how are the inconsistencies happening? How can you find this in different parts of the tape? You got to do your research, people. We will be releasing this in the near future.
Does it concern you at all now that you're 9 years past the incident that memories may start to fade and evidence may slide away?
When you deal with this for so long, we learning more and more each day. We have students reaching out to us, speaking to us. They are grown now. They are starting to talk. And we have, if it takes 10 years, 11 years to find out the truth, we will be steadfast in finding out the truth of what happened to Kendrick. We will prove that this sheriff department once again lied. We talking about a child was murdered in their school, and they treat us like we are the ones who causing all kind of chaos and problems. Our son was murdered on their school, on their campus.
Again, who would you like to investigate it now?
Well,
or do you have anybody? Maybe you don't.
Some things I can't talk about at this time because I don't want to, and I want to. You got to get everything lined up perfectly so they can't dispute a damn thing you say. We don't want just Kendrick case investigated now. We want every damn case that was at this jail. We want Willie James Williams. We want Stephon Egerton. We want everybody case investigated and the truth be told, because these people is not capable of telling the truth.
Kenneth, are you saying that you even want them to go back from 1994 to 2009 when the Atlanta Journal and Constitution found 105 violations that the Honorable Judge Hugh Lawson found in this jail? 31 jail deaths, and we were leading the state of Georgia in jail deaths. You want them to go back and investigate all those deaths as well?
Every death that occurred at this jail, even Willie James Williams, as he laid in there on that floor and died from one of their deputies allegedly beating him. And the same sheriff was in office at that time, Sheriff Ashley Paulk. You want to talk about that Dr. Anderson is a liar? We will pull the sheep off the wolves. And we will get everybody investigated. Every death ever happened here, we will get it investigated. I will see to that everything be investigated, what happened at this sheriff department, because they are not capable of telling the truth of what happened to our peoples.
y'all through? I want to step in with you. I want to step in with you.
How did you feel yesterday when you found that the sheriff's office released their synopsis and found no foul play?
Well, that is what they didn't find. They didn't want to find sheriff play or no foul play, because you can't use the same investigators who covered this thing up from the very beginning. How are you going to use the same investigators who covered it up? They are not going to uncover something that they covered up. We was not surprised when all the people, when Sheriff Ashley Paulk was going around to barbershops and telling the people, when he was trying to get their votes, telling the people that he was going to do something, we tried to tell the people, do not be fooled. The same thing would happen that he ever done to this town, the same thing that he will do now. He will not tell the truth, and he will continue to cover up. And we tried to tell the people. And now the people here in Valdosta, you see for yourself. I told you, every one of you, that he would not do the right thing.
Kenneth, I want to ask you a question. This is the first time that we have addressed this. How do you know me in relationship to your son's death? How do you know me?
Well, I know you by, from around town. I know you by, when people first tell me about Brother Rhymes, I come to you and we got in touch with you. And
the night that he was found, you called me,
yes,
am I
sir,
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the reason I want that to be known, because I'm the only somebody talking about that. Nobody has interviewed me. Why would the Justice Department come down here, nobody interview me, when they know that I've been reporting on this case for anybody? And they have me under 9-year criminal trespass, and I didn't do nothing wrong. So everybody is coming telling me, Rhymes, they must have something that they didn't want you to report because they had something to hide.
Yes.
So that's why they say that they did what they did to me. So I don't want to use up a lot of time, but I want to explain to the public why they put me on the criminal trespass. And I'm going with what you say. I went to Sheriff Prine, I recorded it all, and he didn't get back with me. The superintendent, Wes Taylor, said he didn't do it. The sheriff said he didn't do it. Yet I have my tape recorder, and I recorded both of them. And they said, we don't know who did it. But they say, I think the sheriff working something on you. You see that? So just like you saying they lied, I bear witness that they lied. They lied on me. I'm a retired military veteran, and they could care less about that. They lied on me, and they will not remove me from that criminal trespass after 9 years. I just wanted to fit that in because what I'm recording, every inch of it gonna be published, because I believe in the public right to know. And they don't want you to know what's going on. I know you've been through some stuff, and I commend you for staying on the line, you and Jackie, fighting this fight, because there are a lot of deaths that took place in that jail, and there's other deaths like Egerton, which I recorded that as well. I recorded all of that. And so thank you, my brother. I shake your hand, and the people that support you, they are a blessing. And I wish more religious leaders would stand with you in seeking justice for your child.
Where did all the love go? Somebody tell me where did it go?
All right.
Who killed KJ?
Tony,
Come on.
no,
Who
Tony, we
killed
talked
KJ?
several times yesterday.
Who killed
We'll walk with you a
KJ?
second here if that's okay.
Thank you.
Can you walk with us a second?
Today makes 11 months. My son was found at Lowndes High School, rolled up in a net. I was at that school the day they found my son. They treated us like nobody from day one. They're still treating us like nobody. But we declare that we're here to stay. We ain't going nowhere. They want us to leave, and when we leave, it's going to be when they give us justice for my son.
I want to thank everyone for coming out and supporting our family. tear down our character. But Kendrick, that they can't do.
Amen.
Kendrick was at school where he was supposed to be.
Amen.
And out of 3,000 students, plus teachers, plus a school with resource officers at the school,
Yes.
how in the world can a student go missing during school
Yeah.
and be murdered at school?
I'm not.
As you all know, his organ was missing. But let me tell you a little bit about that. It's from the top of his head to his pelvis was missing. Yeah, the brain, his windpipe, his tongue, his heart, and everything else inside of his body was missing.
How long?
So I want the justice system to tell me, how is it that all of that is going on with his body, someone is not charged with something?
Amen. Yeah.
It can't be.
My God, not big.
You mean to tell me, from the time he was last seen on that surveillance camera, within 15 or 20 minutes, he gonna cut off all of his fingernails till they start to bleed. He gonna scroll his photos around the gym. He gonna throw the shoe over inside the mat. He say, I think I'll go over there and get it now. So, how does one shoe inside the mat and the other one's away from the mat? And then he gets inside the mat, gets stuck, and then I guess the pair of shoes that he had on his feet, he kicks them off.
Makes no sense.
How can that be?
It's a lie.
And other than that, the clothes that he had, what he dressed out in, how's the database? From the clothes he had on, from when they took him to make him to the crime lab, how come that they're missing? So out of all this stuff that's going on, why isn't someone arrested for something?
Amen. How long?
So is it the whole system in together? Or it ain't no way in the world that y'all don't see something. Thank you.
KJ! Who killed KJ? Come on! Who killed KJ? Who killed KJ?
Thank you.
Today makes 11 months. My son was found at Lowndes High School, rolled up in a mat. I was at that school the day they found my son. They've treated us like nobody from day one. They're still treating us like nobody. But we declare that we're here to stay. We ain't going nowhere. When they want us to leave, and when we leave, it's going to be when they give us justice for my son.
Amen.
We want to thank everyone for coming out and supporting our family.
I'm still live on Facebook, and people that are on I just want to say to you that what keeps driving you? Because y'all won't quit. Why won't y'all quit? People are asking y'all the question, with all the stuff that seems to be going against you, the judge moving against you, Judge Lawson sleeping on the bench when he found the water case in your favor. Why do you all keep going and you won't quit?
But Ron, I'm going to say it like this. If anybody loved their child, if anybody was any kind of parent, then they'll fight for what's right for their son. Nothing can stop it. No matter how many obstacles they put in your way, you're going to stand. And I'm scared. And if you're not afraid, you have no worries. You're not a coward. You have no worries. And I've never been afraid.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, I am with the Get To Free Press, and I've been doing this a long time. And I want to say this to you because I see that you are a fighter. And before this is over, you may be one of the biggest civil rights fighters in this country. And I want you to know that the video that I record today, it will be posted in its entirety. I won't edit it. I won't soundbite it. I won't take nothing out because I'm tired of seeing people. You come out here, you talk, not here, but I go across half the state of Georgia and I see news media networks like myself. They will take an hour and only take 5 seconds or 6 seconds and soundbite it. But I want this, what you said today, to be so everybody in the world can get your point of view in comparison to what our Sheriff Ashley Paulk said. And I want to thank you again for being so bold and courageous in doing what you are doing. You have any closing remarks for the people that live here in Valdosta in terms of your case and what y'all are going through?
People here in Valdosta, it is time to start standing up for our people here. Not only Kenneth, but there are so many deaths goes back. And now we must get justice for everybody. Everybody died in this jail. Stephon Egerton, Willie James Williams. Let's get justice for everybody, not just Kendrick. We're in a fight. And it's time to pull the sheep off of these wolves. And for all you people, when Paulk was running for re-election, he stated to you people came and was telling us about what this man was saying. That he was gonna do this and he was gonna do that. But now you see, all snakes bite. Was running for re-election, he stated to you people came and was telling us about what this man was saying. That he was gonna do this and he was gonna do that. But now you see, all snakes bite.
Now one other thing too, last week, and the blame is on me. Last week I saw a video that I had never seen before that your wife Jacqueline gave. She was at KJ grave. And I took that and spliced it and put CNN stuff in between it. And I also took the Fox News article that they did and I put it out there. How is it that, I'm just asking you this, how do you think parents who have lost their child can listen to your wife speak so passionately about her son and it don't touch them to come out and join y'all and bring up the name of their deceased loved ones?
Brother Ryan, a lot of people's here in Lowndes County, right? A lot of people is afraid to speak out. A lot of people, it's been going on for so long. People know what happened, but they're afraid to speak out against these people. You got to have courage. Brother Ryan, they have people have contacted every job that I had, but I'm a warrior. You can't knock a warrior down. You knock a warrior down, he gonna get up, he gonna walk again. I'm not afraid of nobody. I'm not afraid that I can't go down there and get along. I'm not afraid, or you gonna take my job. See, some people are so embedded here in town, they got to be afraid of these things. But I don't have those problems.
somebody last week, and I think I got them on film. It's already on film, so I recorded. And here's what they said. They said people here, a lot of these. Now listen to me now. I want you to respond to it if you can. They said on the video that a lot of these spiritual leaders have taken money from people to build a church, to get siding to their church, or something like that, until they are tied up with some people and they can't speak. What about?
Well, Brother Ryan, you got to only see not only their churches, their businesses. Instead of these people going out buying businesses, buying their buildings, where they can't be kicked out of their businesses, out of their buildings. And they'll take these things, and these peoples here will put a hold on them where they can't speak about certain things. But until the peoples start doing better and start not being afraid, and sometimes you got to take a chance on whatever happened, happened. I'm gonna do the right thing. And the right thing is to tell the truth and speak out for all the wrongdoing of this community, of this sheriff department, and everything ever happened here in Valdosta. Valdosta, it's time to stand up and fight for right. You got all these black elected officials right here in this town, and they are scared to even look your way. I walks in the courthouse, they'll look down. They won't even speak. But if they can't represent the peoples, let vote their ass out of office. Get somebody, and it's time for some new blood, some young blood to get up in these offices, and so they will fight for and do what's right. And let's get the old coons out of there because they're afraid of doing what's right.
Okay, Kenneth, there's another question, several questions, and while we are at it, you and I don't do this much.
Yeah.
But we both want truth, and that's what I want, and I want openness. And here comes my next question. When they said that the crime scene had been compromised, did you hear the sheriff department or anybody in the state of Georgia said that we are going to counsel someone, we're going to do corrective action, that never happened again? Have you heard anybody say that?
Not one soul.
Have you? Okay.
Inside this document, none of that is in here.
Mm-hmm. If the camera was not working,
that's right.
Who was counseled about getting it straight so it wouldn't happen again, or if they needed to buy new merchandise, was anything published in the news media that corrective action had been taken by Lowndes County Superintendent Wes Taylor?
No. And Brother Ryan, if the basketball hit the camera,
yes, sir,
which would have showed the mat, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got footage of the mat in a camera, but right up there, close by that door, you could tell where cameras had been taken away in the gym. They still had the brackets up there. The 4 cameras up there still had the brackets up there.
Don't tell
the
too
cameras
much,
was gone.
Don't tell too much, brother.
The cameras were gone.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be all right, Brother Ryan. We're gonna be all right, and we're gonna prove, and we're gonna show the world. I'm gonna make sure that the world knows about Lowndes County High School, Lowndes County Sheriff Department, and the city of Valdosta, all the corrupt things that ever happened in this city.
You asked a question on the video I put up this morning. I put up a video this morning. I put up one this morning, but I got 2 in the past, and wherein you said, here's your question, you said, are they all in it together?
That's right.
Are they all in it together?
That's right.
I played that about 3 times because that's the question you asked. Are they all in it together?
That's right. And something that's been happening ever since slavery, Brother Ryan. These people have been covering up, and covering up, but they got the Lone Ranger. I will uncover
That's what y'all
everything these some bitches did.
That's what y'all always said in your tapes, and I look at it every time. It just touched me. You say they killed the wrong child this time.
They killed the wrong child, and we will stand up.
Okay.
And Fat Austin, we are the Johnsons. I'm not afraid.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Peace be unto you.
All right.
You all live on Facebook. This is George Buster Rhymes, and you all heard it. That's from Kenneth Johnson. I told you I met him when his son was found dead. He called me that night. I didn't know him up until then, but he'd heard about me with what I do. But I knew his wife because she went to school with my daughter. My daughter knew her, and we went to Bishop John F. Donaldson Church, and so I knew of them. But I had no idea that this girl, Jackie, was so strong and had so much love for another human being. Now y'all have a nice day. God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. And we do what we do because it must be done. Bye-bye. We gone.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Romans 8:7 says, because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God.
Because it is known that they would not tell the truth about what happened. Inside the FBI report, it shows you where Kendrick and Bryant crossed paths. Now they are saying the Bells left an hour before Kendrick was last seen. First, they stated they left that morning. Then they left at noon. Now they left an hour before Kendrick was last seen. You can't keep changing the time of when they cross paths. You got an FBI report showing you when they cross paths.
If you spent 20 years in prison, how much money did they give you when you got out to readjust? I mean, really, just tell me how much money.
I want to say it was $35 maybe.
$35.
$35. They give you a check for $35. If I ain't mistaken. It could have been 25. I know it wasn't no more than 35.
Okay.
It's no, like, I know it wasn't nothing to help with a job, or housing, or food.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you a question. No more question. I'm through with that. But what I am going to say to you, because you're going to close us out here, and I want you to give us your closing remarks in terms of what do you say to other former inmates of the Lowndes County Jail or the prison system who know something that need to share something. What do you say to them?
What I say is it's our duty and our obligations to do. Now, what I mean by that, and I do apologize because I know they had a Black Lives Matter march downtown, and I feel like every man that had a child, especially a son, should have been. Every black man. We need to stand, like, what's the problem? We can't be too busy, because obviously Brother Ryan will come to you because he came to me. He came to me. I'm not at his house, I'm not in his office, he came to me. So yeah, man, it is our duty. See, let me show you something. People got the word gangster, and this goes out to the gangsters. You don't have to be like being a drug dealer don't make you a gangster. Shooting at people you don't know don't make, 6, 7 people jumping on people don't make you a gangster. Standing up as a man, not being afraid, that make you a gangster. Stop polluting your neighborhoods. That don't make you no gangster. Stand up, man, do something right. Let's fight for something right. Not for a street.
Wait, I need you to find that again. Define who you say a gangster is again.
A gangster's a man that stands up for what's right. A gangster's not a drug. Me personally, and I don't mean to offend nobody when I say this, no religion, I think the biggest gangster in the world was Jesus Christ. What he went through and what he dealt with, it never changed. Never changed, and never changed. Took the beatings, took all the laughter, and still remained, that's gangster. If you can let somebody beat on you like that while you bearing the cross, and you bear with Protestant, that's gangster.
I'm gonna close on that note, my beautiful brother. Give me your name once again, brother.
Jesse Smith. We're not gonna use EF number 325617 no more, cause that ain't me.
What's that number was, brother?
325617.
Okay, I may play that lottery tonight, might win. If I do, I'll give you some money.
All right, bro.
See, a lot of Christians can't play the lottery. I can play it because I'm free.
I know that's right.
Peace be unto you, brother.
I know that's right. Peace, man.
Right
hey,
on,
y'all,
bro.
let's stand up, man. Stand up.
Thank you so much. Once
No
again, to get
problem.
to Free Press George Boss Rhymes, doing what I do because it must be done. Just remember these words, Galatians 6 and 7. For God is not mocked, for whatsoever man sow, that shall he also reap. This brother came and gave you something, take it in, so you won't reap.
Yeah, but we're gonna be all right, Brother Ryan. We're gonna be all right, and we're gonna prove, and we're gonna show the world. I'm gonna make sure that the world knows about Lowndes County High School, Lowndes County Sheriff Department, and the city of Valdosta, all the corrupt things that ever happened in this city.
You ask a
One thing we kept hearing over and over again was about this missing FBI report regarding the security tape hard drive and the blacked out footage. So we looked into finding that report to see if we could locate it, and we did. However, the report was heavily redacted. But then we were able to find the unredacted FBI report, and what we discovered blew us away. You see, in the redacted report, you can barely see any of the video frames. Most of the frames are blacked out, and the ones with KJ are barely recognizable. In the unredacted report, we were able to see all the video frames in full color. The report follows KJ, Brian, and Brandon's movement throughout the school for the entire day and records where they were. Not only is this further video evidence that the Bell Boys were on campus when KJ went missing, we found something that the FBI clearly didn't want us to see. Let us put them side by side so you can see what we found. Here they are. Can you see something a little odd? Look closely. There appears to be a frame on both pages that matches. How could this be? What tipped us off is KJ's yellow folder. We were going through Brian's movements, and all of a sudden, KJ's folder appeared on screen. That's right. There's a frame on KJ's side and Brian's side that is identical. The boys are standing seemingly right next to each other in the hallway.
Did you see Kendrick that day?
No. I did not.
Seeing the alleged killer of KJ standing next to him in the hallway the day he died in school has sent chills down our spines. How did no one see this frame? How did the FBI let this go? Why did it take 6 years and an independent filmmaker to find this? These are all questions that may never go answered. But what we do know for sure is that we have more facts now than we ever have. And this case needs to be reopened and re-examined with a fine-tooth comb. If KJ had been white, we wouldn't have had to make this film.